Thank you, Chairman. We are here together to discuss the European summit that will take place in Brussels in the coming days. The PM plans, on behalf of the Dutch taxpayer, to give an extra €1 billion to Ukraine this year. Until 2026, this totals an additional €4.4 billion, perpetuating the hopeless war, resulting in more senseless deaths of young Ukrainian men, and enabling the American arms industry to earn billions more euros. It's unfortunate that the entire European and American decision-making apparatus continues to fervently drum on the war drum. It is all about the escalation. Nobody seems to be considering the senselessness of the war that is happening in Ukraine. No one except Forum for Democracy plea for peace. Moreover, there is talk of a wartime economy, and the Minister of Defense, Ollongren, calls on pension funds to invest in the arms industry. Last week, the Minister of Foreign Trade even mentioned, I quote, civilian casualties or body bags, end quote. The American chief security in Europe, Safodi, has now also realized, like numerous experts, that the war in Ukraine is unwinnable. The Russian army will soon grow to, he says, 1.5 million troops. The Russian army now has a superiority in fired shells of 5-1. By year end, it's expected to be 10-1. My first question to the PM is thus: if the Prime Minister keeps saying that Russia must not win, can the Prime Minister also define what not winning means? Is the Western war objective still to recapture Donbass and Crimea? Isn't this goal completely unattainable, and therefore, isn't continuing the fight extremely dangerous for Ukraine? Is that country not being completely abandoned to destruction? The president of Latvia even tweeted a month ago with a serious expression on his face that, quote, Russia must be destroyed, end quote. Is such a total war also the objective of the Netherlands? That's how I asked the Prime Minister. If so, then why does Russia need to be destroyed so urgently? Should we interpret the statement of the Latvian Prime Minister as an acknowledgement that this war is actually a proxy war of the West against Russia? Does PM acknowledge Russia receiving more support globally? Is it correct that with, for example, the rise and gradual expansion of Bruxlands, the West, and thus the Netherlands, are becoming more isolated and weaker? The fear of escalation into a world war is growing everywhere. How likely does the Prime Minister, who is more active on the world stage than in the Netherlands itself, estimate the chance of a third world war? How does the Prime Minister judge the fear of many that a war between the nuclear powers of NATO and Russia would mean total destruction? And what is more important for the Cabinet? Preventing the total destruction a third world war would bring, or preventing Russia from achieving its war objectives in Ukraine and thus winning? Chairman, it's clear a true democracy desires peace, but the government is leading the Netherlands towards war. In any case, we hope that the path of futile escalation of death and destruction will be abandoned ASAP by many. This is not only in the interest of Ukraine, which is now being abandoned to destruction on behalf of the Dutch government. It is also in the interest of the security of our own country, our own military personnel, and potentially our own conscripts in the future. End war, choose peace. See, I have one more min left, Chair. Briefly touch on where we left off. PM, previous debate on EU summit. About Nord Stream, among other things, interruptions over. Nord Stream, as known, blown up. It's a Dutch pipeline, 9% owned by Gas Union, ultimately becoming a major environmental scandal in the end. The Prime Minister said then, I have it here in the records, and that concludes our debate of interruptions. I asked the PME if that is not an act of aggression against the Netherlands. PME said we must determine who it is and what the motives are. I found that to be a truly remarkable answer. Imagine if the PME said that, e.g. about MH17. It's a major crime, the plane was shot down, but it depends on who does it and why. Then everyone here would get angry and rush to the mic for an intervention. So my question to the PME is what he has in mind about that. What motives? Which country would be acceptable then, apparently, if they detonated that Nord Stream? To give the PM a push in the right direction. It's common knowledge that America has naturally done that. They've also announced it for that war. We'll blow it up if Russia invades. Is it possible that if the US has done this, for any reasons, the PM finds it okay that the gas pipeline is blown up? Thanks, Chair.